topic is network security and cryptographic protocols, under which we have the network segmentations, firewalls, intrusion prevention systems. In my prior knowledge, network is a connection of two or more computers within a network. Segmentation is a division or a partition of a network within a network. Why there is a network segmentations? To add more layers of security due to the multiple number of segments. So the attackers cannot easily see all of the data because of multiple network segments. Firewalls. So either a hardware or a software or predefined policies being put in our network. Then the intrusion prevention system, when the threat is being detected with the use of IDS or intrusion detection system, the role of the intrusion prevention systems or IPS is to prevent from damage of our segmented networks. So to dig deeper about these topics, let's proceed to these topics. Um, we have these topics under in network segmentation: the physical, virtual, intent-based, micro, internal, cloud, and hybrid segmentations. For the firewalls, we have the network, host-based, hardware, software, internal, distributed, perimeter, the next generation, packet filtering, circuit label gateway, web application firewall, proxy, and stateful inspection firewalls. Under in intrusion prevention system, we have the network base, host base, the network behavioral analysis or NBA, and the wireless intrusion prevention systems or WIPS. Okay, now let us first define what is network segmentations. Network segmentation is a cyber security practice that divides a computer network into smaller or isolated segments or sub-networks. So this process is achieved by placing barriers between parts of the system that do not need to interact directly. For example, a company can create a subnet for its printers or a segment preserved or reserved for storing sensitive data. So each segment is an independent unit and unique access controls and network security measures. So once a network is segmented, every subnet operates independently, allowing precise control over data traffic between sections. So network engineers can stop all traffic in all segments from reaching another and filter data flow by traffic type, source, or purpose. This isolation limits a threat's ability to move freely through the systems. If a section of the network experiences a data breach, other segments remain secure. So for example, in our site 1, site 2, site 3, and then site 4, in our illustration, that each site represented with segmented networks. So when the site 1 is being attacked with the attackers, the isolation will be activated and the rest of the segmented network will remain operated or processed. So that is the purpose of network segmentations, that the business continuity will still operate. Okay, then the segment that are being attacked by the threat will be isolated to add a security measures. Now let us define the network segmentation methods. Part of it, we have the physical segmentation. What is a physical segmentation? Involves using dedicated hardware such as switches and routers to create completely separate networks So this commonly being seen in our campus area network that has a multiple number of department that has its own dedicated networks. Okay, so let's proceed to the virtual segmentation, or also known as virtual local area networks, or VLANs, to logically divide a single physical network into multiple distinct networks. So each VLAN operates as an independent network, although they share the same physical infrastructures. So VLAN are configured on a network switches and routers to control traffic flow between segments, enhancing security and reducing the risk of lateral movements by attackers. So as being seen, if we have a virtual local area network, it uses one port, okay, to add multiple number of segmented networks with VLANs. So VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. Why? It reduces the risk of lateral movements, because if we don't have a virtual local area network or virtual segmentation, the attackers can have a lateral movement which can see all of the connected hosts, all the data in a surface. Okay, that is a lateral movement. The attackers can easily see all of the connected and see all of the data. While if you have a virtual local area network, there is another surface that the attackers can penetrate, no? So there's an effort from attackers to do, okay? So it can cause from them to delay. Then the administrator will apply a security measures to prevent our network from attack. Okay? So for the intent-based segmentation, what is this? Defines and enforces network policies based on the business intent and requirements. So this method uses advanced software-defined networking, or SDN, kumbaga, technologies to dynamically create and manage network segmentation according to predefined policies. So with this, it allows for more granular control and automation adapting to changes businesses needs and security requirements. So in our example, in our illustration, users, we have the users, devices, then the applications. So the user and devices will request from the group access policy. Then the next step is the prioritization policy, then the application policy. Then these applications will return into users and devices. So that's how it works. So for our intent base, and that is also, this is flexible based on the needs of our businesses. What is a micro segmentation? Is a granular approach to network segmentation that involves creating in highly specific isolated segments down to the individual workload or applications level. So the difference between the micro and network segmentation, the network segmentation only secure the whole network or segmented network, while the micro segmentation, it secure all the applications, okay, within a networks. So that's how the micro segmentation works. And part of it, we have this method. It uses the software defined networking and security policies to control traffic between micro segments, providing the fine-tuned security and reducing the attacks surface. So it is not only virtual segmentation, but it's also micro segmentation, which the every applications are being secured by this type of segmentation, which is the micro segmentations. So for the internal segmentation, divides the internal networks into isolated segments to protect sensitive data in critical systems from insider threats. So this methods uses internal firewalls, access control lists or ACLs, and network monitoring to control traffic between segments, enhancing security and reducing the risk of internal networks. In the left side of our screen, in our figure, so we have the user workstation, then the internal servers. So with this, it defines the internal network or zone. Also, from the upper part of the figure, we have the proxy, email, and web, and defined as the militarized zone or DMZ. Then the lower part is the application server, database server, the DMZ or demilitarized zone 2. Okay. Then in the center we have the firewall. Okay. So with this, it defines again that the internal segments is has a isolated segments to protect sensitive data and critical systems from insider threats. So that is our internal segmentation. For the cloud-based segmentation, it involves dividing cloud environments into isolated segments into enhanced security and compliance. This method uses cloud-native security controls. Okay, so what is this cloud-native application? Consists of microservices packaged into containers running on cloud computing infrastructures. So, for example of this, we have the Alkira.cxp. So, in the center of our figure, it has the services offered or featured offered the user and sites being hosted on the cloud, the services, then the cloud connections. So we have the segments, no, segment from the upper right, yes, then the segment 2 and then the segment 3. Then we have the data centers. So with this platform, this industry uses cloud-based to easily manage their services being offered. So to add more security and compliance. Now, for the hybrid segmentation, combines multiple segmentation methods to create a comprehensive security strategy that spans on a premises, cloud, and hybrid environments. This approach leverages the strengths of different segmentations techniques to provide robust security and flexibility. So as being shown in our figure, we have the finance, the sales, then infrastructures. So if all of these are being connected in a cloud or either on a premises, so that's what we call hybrid segmentations. Now, what are the benefits of network segmentation? Part of it is the to enhance security. Why this network segmentation can enhance security? Okay, segmenting a network limits the spread of malware and restrict unauthorized access. If one segment is compromised, the breach is contained, preventing lateral movements across the networks. So, in this statement, that it can enhance the security because the attackers can reduce lateral movements. So, for example, with the virtual and the micro segmentations, so there is no or can reduce lateral movements from the attackers. So it leads into enhancement of security. Then what is improved performance? Why can improve performance? Because it divides a network into smaller segments, reduces traffic within each segment, minimizing congestion, improving bandwidth efficiency, and enhancing overall network performance. Because if there is no network segmentation, imagine that if only one segment for the whole institution with, for example, 5,000 hosts connected in our network, with this 5,000 connects simultaneously, it can cause traffic or congestions, it can cause delay with the operation, or it can cause interruption in the network because there is a traffic. So it improves because it is only what we call the traffic can easily define what segment are being operated or processed, and yes, it can improve performance. Why? Network segmentations, regulatory compliance. So many regulations and standards mandate strict controls over sensitive data. Network segmentation helps organizations meet these requirements by isolating and protecting regulated data. So, for example, of the um, data that must be protected is the medical and finance. Okay, that must be keep, okay, confidentials. With this, um, it needs to be protected by the use of network segmentations. Okay, uh, not all of the members are connected in a single network can have the access, or even can see the connected host in a network. So by the use of network segmentations, the finance department or the medical records, uh, it has their own segmented network that has their own access control policies with unique access. Okay, so with this, it is a regulatory compliance. Then why it is simplified network, or simplified management? Because enables more manageable and focused security policies. Network administrator can tailor security measures and access control to the needs of each segments. So if there is a security measures being applied in one network, if the other segmented network needs for it, it can tailor from the other segments. So simplified because also network administrators can easily monitor, manage the network. So by the use of segmented networks. Imagine if it is not segmented, so the uh, the monitoring of a network traffic cannot easily define. And why reduce attack surface? So given segmented na siya, reduces number of potential entry points for attackers, making it harder to penetrate the network and limiting potential damage of successful attacks. So given that the attack is enters in our network with segmented networks, so given that our network has a multiple number of segments, so the attackers cannot easily enters with multiple number of entry points. So that's the purpose of network segmentation. It reduce attack surface. Business continuity. So what is this? Every businesses needs to have a business continuity, because if there is no business continuity, there is a loss of income. Part of it it is a industry standard that it must be operated 24/7 if it is what we call government agencies. A network bridge segmentation ensures that unaffected segments continue to operate normally, reducing downtime and maintaining business continuity. Okay? Then, when to segment a network? So, the primary reason to segment a network is to proactive risk management. There is no one-size-fits-all answer to whether it is necessary for your organizations. So, data sensitivity. This is a most critical factor. Segmentation is essential if your organization handles highly sensitive information like your financial and medical records. Isolating and protecting this data reduces the risk and potential impact of breach. Okay, so it needs to be protected with our sensitive data like financial and medical records, compliance records. So many of our industries faces strict data security and privacy law. Network segmentation helps you to comply with the by demonstrating you have taken appropriately measures to protect sensitive data. So the purpose of network segmentation is for compliance, okay, to secure our sensitive data that not all connected hosts can see all of the connected hosts that holds a sensitive data like our finance and medical records. Network size and complexity, because if you have multiple number of hosts connected in our network, it needs to have a segments. Large and complex networks with many devices and users and inherently more vulnerable. Segmentation simplifies security management by dividing the network into smaller, more manageable sections, allowing you to implement different security controls for each segment on its risk profile. So with this, if you have a 5,000 or 50,000 simultaneously connecting in our networks, it needs to have a segmentations. Okay, with complex security measures. Threat landscape. What is this? Consider the types of threats your organization faces. If your target for a sophisticated cyber attacks and advanced persistent threats, segmentation is an additional security layer. So again, just like what I have said earlier, that if you have one layer of security, the attackers can easily see the data inside your network. But if your network is segmented, the threat or attackers cannot enter in every entry points, because in every segment has its own security measures being applied on it. Okay, now let's proceed to the firewall. What is a firewall? Is the first line of defense that monitors incoming and uh, outgoing traffic and decides to allow or block specific traffic based on a defined set of security. So its primary role is to monitor, control, and decide on a validity of incoming and outgoing traffic based on the predefined set of rules. So these rules are designed to prevent unauthorized access and maintain network integrity. So let us first define this firewall in our figure. So in the center we have the blocks that represents a firewall in every segmented network. So this firewall again maybe a hardware, software, or predefined policies being applied in every segments. So what are the types of firewalls? So let us first discuss under in firewall we have network firewall is a position at the juncture between trusted and untrusted networks such as internal systems and the internet. So as being shown in our illustration, we have the internal network, which is the local network, then the internet. So when our internal network connects to the internet, it should be protected, okay? Or yes, must be protected by the use of the firewall. So every devices, either cell phones, laptop, desktop, or any devices that connects to the internet is vulnerable. So with this type of security measures, with the use of the firewall, network firewall, it enhances the security of a network. Okay, that the attackers cannot easily penetrate with our data. So now, next is the host-based firewall. What is this host-based firewall? Is a software that operates on a singular device within a network. It is installed directly onto individual computers or devices, offering a focused layer of protection against potential threats. By examining the incoming and outgoing traffic of that specific device, it effectively filters harmful content, ensuring that the malware, viruses, and other malicious activities do not uh, infiltrate the system. So in environment where network security is paramount, host-based firewall complement perimeter-based solution, while the perimeter defenses secure the broader network's boundaries. Host-based firewalls the bolster security at the device level. This dual protection strategy ensures that even if a threat surpasses the network, primarily defenses, individual computers remain shielded. So for the host-based firewall, as you can see, we have the enterprise network, which is the business or the industry, and connects to the internet. It has its own singular device which hold with the firewall. For the hardware firewall, what is this? Hardware firewall is a physical device placed between a computer or a network and its connection to the internet. It operates independently of the host device, examining inbound and outbound traffic, ensures the compliance with a set of security rules by actively analyzing packets of data. The hardware firewall can identify and block threats, providing a robust barrier against potential cyber intrusion. So the operation of the hardware firewall involves connecting it directly between the internet source and the target network or a system. So as being shown in our illustration, we have the unsecured connection, the internet. Then we have the LAN. If we have a hardware firewall, we can protect our network, okay, with the use of these types of firewall, the hardware. Now, what is a software firewall? Is a firewall in a software form. Okay, so this is not the same with the hardware firewall. Software, it is a platform or a system factor rather than a physical appliance which can be deployed on servers or virtual machines to secure cloud environment. So it can be deployed with our servers and virtual machines. Software firewalls are designed to protect sensitive data, workloads, and applications in an environment wherein it is difficult or impossible to deploy physical firewalls. Software firewalls embody the same firewall technology as the hardware firewalls, also known as the next generation firewalls or the NGFW. They offer multiple deployment options to match the needs of hybrid or multiple clouds environment and modern cloud applications. Software firewalls can be deployed into any virtualized network or cloud environment. So in our case, we have the private and the public cloud. Okay? In the center, we have the cloud firewall. And then the managed service firewall. So the connection of our private and public, and in the center, the firewall to secure our uh, 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 private and public transactions. Internal firewall functions primarily within a network confines, targeting security threats that may have already penetrated the perimeter defenses. So when we say when we say internal uh, firewall as being shown in our illustration, we have the internet, then under which we have the server and then the clients, then the external uh, firewall. With this, unlike with the external or perimeter firewalls, which focus on incoming external threats, internal firewalls concentrate on the uh, traffic between devices within the network. So only the traffic within the network focused by this type of internal network. So this is relevant because not all threats originated from the internet. Issues can arise from within an organizations, be an international or employee errors or malicious. For example, the employee downloaded downloaded a application from outside, then he or she is using the flash drive, and the flash drive connects to the company's laptop or PC, then the attack uh, will be penetrated in our networks. So with this type of internal firewall, uh, it can prevent to damage our network. Okay. So next, distributed firewall. What is this distributed firewall? Is a network security mechanism designed to safeguard an organization's entire infrastructure. Unlike with a traditional firewall, which are typically concentrated on a single node or device, distributed firewalls operates across a network. They harness the capabilities of multiple devices to monitor and regulate traffic, ensuring consistent and complete protections. So, as being shown, if your institution has multiple number of segmented networks, and it needs to have a distributed firewall, okay, along with your network. Now, what is a perimeter firewall? Establishes the boundaries between a private network and the public domain of the internet. So, function functioning of the uh, functioning of the primary defense. This type of a firewall maliciously inspect every data byte attempting to pass through these safeguards the private network from unwarranted and potentially harmful data. A significant role of a perimeter firewall involves differentiating and subsequently allowing or disallowing traffic based on a predefined parameters, ensuring only legitimate and safe data gains entry. So in our perimeter firewall, we have the LAN, then the internet. So perimeter firewall, it is same with the internal firewall that safeguarding with our local area network. Next is the NGFW, or also known as the next generation firewall. What is this? Extends the capabilities of a traditional firewalls, offering more comprehensive security solutions. Unlike their uh, predecessors, focus primarily on stateful inspections. So provide enhance the features to understand and control application traffic, integrate intrusion prevention mechanism, and utilize cloud source threat intelligence. This involved approach ensures a more meticulous inspection of data packets, accounting for the integrate uh, nuance modern cyber threats. So with this, we have the internet, then we have the um, resources, then the process is from internet we have the firewall, the security and logging services reporting. Then what are those traffic that are being allowed and what are those being denied? So there is what we call reporting or logging. So as a network administrator, this is very important for you to be able to assess if um, uh, uh, the network is healthy or not. Okay, then you can implement your changes uh, afterwards due to this report. Packet filtering firewall. So what is this? Operate at the network layer, responsible for regulating the flow of data packets between network. These firewalls rely on a predefined rules that evaluate the specific attributes at the packets, such as source IP, destination IP, or ports, and protocols. If the attributes match to the established rules, the packet is allowed to pass through. If not, the packet is blocked. So the purpose of packet filtering is to block the unmatched port or the protocols or the IP address that is not matched for the request from the local network. Now, next is the circuit level gateway. As being shown in our illustration, we have the inside and outside host. And in part of the circuit level illustration, we have the in, out. It functions primarily at the session layer of the OSI model. Its role is to oversee and validate the handshake process between the packets, specifically for the TCP and UDP connection. By examining the handshake process and the IP address associated with the packets, this firewall identifies legitimate traffic and deters unauthorized access. A circuit level gateway primarily focuses on a header information, ensuring the traffic aligns with the firewall rules set without delving into the actual content of the data packets. So that's how it works. Web application firewall, commonly referred as the WAF servers, serves as a specialized layer of protection for web applications, web servers, and API. So we have these HTTP traffic sources. Then we have the traffic filtering. Then the destination servers. By this type of a firewall, the WAF, okay, web application firewall is being attached in the center for the HTTP request from the destination server. Next is the proxy firewall. Stands as a vital defense mechanism for networks operating at the application layer. So what is this? Also referred as to as an application firewall or gateway firewall. It primarily functions as an intermediary, filtering messages between computer systems and external servers. By doing so, it safeguards network resources from potential cyber attacks or threats. So from internet, and then we have the proxy at the center, and then the trusted network, which is the local network or internal network. The stateful inspection are integral in active network connection monitoring. So we have the client and internet going to the server, but before that we have the state tables, then the state inspection engines, which is the stateful inspection firewall. So by tracking this connection, the analyze the context of incoming and outgoing traffic, ensuring only safe data packets traverse the network located at the layers 3 and 4 of the open system interconnection or OSI model. So their primarily function is to filter traffic based on its state and context. Now let us define how to choose the right firewall for the business networks. So as discussed, it depends upon on the large of network that you have and the purpose of a network. So in the center we have the firewalls, what should be what traffic should pass or not, okay, from our network. And let us now discuss the intrusion prevention systems. So what is intrusion prevention system? Can be software application installed on endpoints, dedicated hardware devices connected to the network or delivered as a cloud servers. So in our example, we have this example of IPS, then in the IDS. Actually, the IDS and then the IPS is uh, 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 I can describe them as a twin. That when the IDS detects that there is a threat, the IPS will deploy security measures to prevent the network from damage. Okay, so by this illustration. So types of intrusion prevention system: monitors inbound and outbound traffic to device across the network, inspecting individual packets for suspicious activity, or NIPS. Monitors are placed as a strategic point in the network. So that is for network intrusion prevention systems. So as being shown in our illustration, that the what we call IPS is being attached in the center. We have the corporate network owned by one of the industry, and then we have the internet. So from firewall into router, that is the connection of the network intrusion prevention system. And as well as they often set immediately behind the firewalls at the network perimeter, so they can stop malicious traffic breaking through. NIPS may also be placed inside the network to monitor traffic to and from key assets like critical data centers. For the host-based intrusion prevention system is installed on specific endpoints like laptop server and monitors only traffic to and from that device as the word itself, host base, okay, so being installed in a endpoint. So that is the difference between from the network base. This host base is installed from the endpoint as being shown in our illustration. So for the network behavior analysis or NBA solution, monitors network traffic flow. So that's the purpose of the NBA. It may also inspect packets like other IPS, but many NBAs focus on higher level details of communication sessions such as source and destination, IP addresses, port and use, and the number of packets transmitted. So also it uses anomaly based detection methods, plugging and blocking any flows that deviate from the norm, like DDoS attacks on a traffic or a malware infected device communicating with an unknown command and control servers. So in our illustration, we have the segmented network, the NBA sensor, okay, as defined as NBA segment. And from the outside, we have the firewall, a switch, and then the router above, and then a switch. Alright, so wireless intrusion prevention system. So from the term itself, wireless, okay, monitors wireless network protocols for suspicious activity like unauthorized users and devices accessing the company's Wi-Fi. So this is this for this example, we have um, the cell phone connecting to the satellite and many more. So by this embedded uh, wireless intrusion prevention systems, okay, inside a network to protect the wireless connection, not only with a cable connection, okay, entering with a wired connection. So by this, what are the attacks detected and prevented by the IPS? So one of it is the address resolution protocol or ARP, spoofing. This attack redirects traffic from a legitimate system to the attacker's fake or messages sent by attacker. Create a link between the attacker or media access control address and then the IP address of an attack system. So buffer overflow. This attack uses vulnerabilities in the buffer overflow to override memory and corrupt the execution of an application. So let me wrap up this. We have the distributed denial of service or DDoS, IP fragmentation, operating system or OS fingerprinting, ping of death, the port scanning, server message block or SMB, SMORP, secure socket layer or SSL, the SYN flag. Alright, so you may also try this one for you to be able to practice with the attacks to prevent your network. Okay, next is for the network segmentation tools. So we have the Cisco Secure Workload, VMware NSK, Illumio, Fado, Algosec, Tofin, Alkamai, GuardCore, Centra. Then the this one, Fidelis Halo. And these are the logos in the right side of the screen. So for the firewalls, there are a lot of tools that we can use to apply firewalls. Okay, here are some of the examples. The skybox, and in the right side is the example of the dashboard that we can use. The firewall builder, the AWS firewall manager, the Cisco Firepower Management Center, Fireman, the Managed Engine Firewall Analyzer, the AlgoSec, Tofin Secure Track, Firewall Browser, Palo Alto Panorama. Next is for Intrusion Prevention System, RPS or IDS tools, the Snort, one of the most popular, Suricata, the OSSEC, Security Union, the Bro Network Security Monitor, the Beast Tumbler, Smooth Wall Express, Untangle, NG Firewall, then the Clam AV. So there are lots of tools that we can use from the network, firewalls, and intrusion prevention systems. So this being shown to you is an example only for these tools. And we have this activity that we can try at your home. And other resources that we can use. So in here we can see in live the malware, phishing, and exploit being held in our global network. Also, we can use the what we call the government cybercrime records that we can refer with the current cybersecurity news. So here we can see some of the records related to cybercrimes. So as in line with the information technology, we must be informed of the current attacks to mitigate this and to protect our networks. And here are the references of the presentations. Okay, so I have prepared a network segmentation demonstrations. Okay, with the use of this presentation, I am using the what they call IP addresses. So let's say we have this one network, the LAN network, and for the LAN network, we have these clients, okay, connected in our network. So I will be following this, no? Alright. So in here, I have prepared the demonstration. So for example, we have these 3 clients connected in a hub. So I configure this one in fast Ethernet port by as 192.168.2.10, and then the subnet mask is 255.255.0, and you must enable this as on for you to apply these settings. Then same with the other, go to desktop, alright, and 2.20. Okay, then also you need to apply as on. Right, desktop 2.30. Okay, so here it is. So 2.10 and 2.30. This is connected to the 192.168. Sorry. 2.10 is referred to a PC. This is 2.10. This router is connected to let me see, this one, gigabit 00. Okay, so this is 192.168 dot 2.1 enabled. Okay, this is dot 10. Okay, static, apply 2.30, 20 rather, sorry. And also, by the way, before I forget, the gateway is the router 2.1. Okay, 2.1. Okay, 2.1, 2.1. Maybe I can configure the DNS server, which is the 192.168.168.168, the IP address of the one. Okay, this one, 168.168. Okay, let me configure 192.168.168.168. So this defines the parent router or the ISP. Okay, same with this. Okay, so this configuration I am using is the GUI or GUI of the Cisco Packet Tracer, but we can also use the config, okay, the CLI, but for now I will be using the GUI. And for the hub, there is no configuration. Router is okay. Now there is an internal network, which is the 2.1. okay, so let me correct this one. Okay, 2.1. Okay, 2.1. So 2.1, and then the upper IP address, external IP address, this one, from serial interface 00. Okay, go to serial, okay, 192.168.168.1. okay, so internal 1 connected to this router 192.168.168. okay, for what is this? Just hover from serial 00. Okay, this one. Alright, so by the let me define first this segment. This is another segment. Okay, and then the other segment. Okay, so now I have the networks. Let me correct this one. Desktop 10, the client 1. Okay, 3.10. Okay, then so this is wrong. Why? Because Control Z. Okay, sorry. This is serial this one. Okay, then let me check serial. So 192.168.168 dot sorry 169.169 on. Okay, then serial 169 dot 2. Okay, forward. Okay, then let me change this one as 169.169. Okay, then this one is also 169. Then the router, local router .3.1. local router sorry, 3.1. This one, 3 router. Local router 192.168.3.1. Okay, and 192.168.3.1. Okay, same with this. Config the stop, then 192.168.3.1 and the upper router. Okay, next one, let's us review 3.1. okay, then 169.2. okay, serial. Okay, so let us ping so from this segment command prompt ping 192.168.3.1. Sorry, 2.1. ada 2.1. okay, there's a reply within the this segment. So now we have this problem. So let us pick this one. So we have this 192.168.168.168 from serial 0. Okay, next one for serial 01. okay, sorry, serial 01 169 is 169. 169 dot. Okay, sometimes there is an error, so let me save and then on it again. So we have this segment inner and inner LAN. We have this left null external IP. .168.168. So this is 169.168.168. 192.169. Okay, so nothing happens. So let us troubleshoot this connection, this one. By the way, let us check the connection from the parent router. So let's see. Ping 192.168.168.168. So due to the security in the upper part of the network, we cannot access. So there is needs to be configured before we can access to the external. So I am now troubleshooting these connections within zero. Ay, 20. Sorry. 2. So this one 20. 192. Zero. One. Oh, sorry, ano na. Okay, sorry. So this is from 1. So we now have two segments of network. Okay, and if we try to transfer from here to here, so delete scenario, and let's try to transfer. Oops, successful. Then we have this one, successful. And if we try to pass this one into another network or segment, failed. Why? Because it has its own network security policy. Part of it is the IP addressing. It is a private network which the other network can't access. So this controls with the firewall. Okay, and let's try to pass into outside. It's a failed. Why? Because so another protocols from the upper part of the network, which is defined as 1. Okay, so this is a segment 1 and then a segment 2. So segment 1 192.168.3.2.0/24, and then segment 2 192.168.3.0/24. So this means it is a private network under 3.0. So with the use of subnet 3.0 subnet. Okay, so this demonstration is for network segmentations with the use of physical network with dedicated router and switches inside a network. So that's all for now. Thank you so much.